What's up, everybody? Kier Gomes here, and welcome to Way Back Wednesday, episode 14. I think in my last video I said episode 14, but that was actually episode 13, so here we are. If you're not familiar, Way Back Wednesday is a series on this channel where we talk about decks from 2013, 2014, 2015, basically any deck that you may have missed out on if you're new to the cardistry, magic, or playing card community. For today's episode, we are going to be taking a look at the Malibu V1 playing cards by Gemini Decks. If you know me, you know I love Gemini, so I couldn't pass up the opportunity to dedicate an episode strictly to one of their best decks of cards to date. Before we get started, please do drop a like on this video, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's roll that intro and get you guys on your way. Alright, now there's a couple things with this deck that I want to talk about first. Number one being, shout out to one of my subscribers, Jacob Burnham, for sending me this deck so that I can review it. And the other one being, there is a V2 of this deck that we are not going to be reviewing. So today we're strictly talking about the V1. Alright, with those items out of the way, I feel like the air is clear. Let's get into the review. The tuck case is done in glossy cardstock from the USPCC, so quite standard. The front and back of the tuck case are the back design of the cards, and you can see it is just this beautiful mixture of soft pink, blue, a little bit of purple in there. Very, very Malibu-esque, very 90s, which if you know me, you know I love. One side of the deck says Malibu. The other side says Surf's Up. The bottom has some information about Gemini Decks. And the top says California and has the zip code for Malibu. You also do get a custom black seal, and it says Surf's Up written on it. You will see that again in the deck, so let's crack it open and take a look at it. Here's another look at your back design. You get a nice medium-sized border in white, and then you get just these beautiful, you can almost even see a little bit of yellow in there, but it's very like sherbet type look. In general, it does have my two favorite colors on it, which are pink and blue, so I'm a huge fan already. But as well, it just has this nice clean and kind of retro Saved by the Bell type aesthetic that I just can't get enough of. You are going to get two identical jokers with this deck. It says Surf's Up in cursive in the middle. You saw that on the seal on the back of the deck. This is not the only place that you're going to see it, but here you go. You can also see it says Malibu up top and Surf's Up down at the bottom. Very simple jokers. I love the kind of Stussy writing of Surf's Up. I think that looks really, really neat, and it also kind of matches that LA surfer vibe. So really, really like that. Your Ace of Spades is gorgeous. It's this nice and large spade pip with that black shadow behind it, and kind of has this comic book dot work on the inside, and again says Surf's Up. Above that says Malibu, and below that says Made in the USA. Other than that gorgeous spade there in the middle, you do get standard USPCC indices, which I love. In terms of ad cards and gaff cards, you are going to get one ad card, and it is a Gemini ad card. I don't have it. I don't know what happened to it, but it's just an ad card. It says Gemini on it. You also get a double backer, same color on both sides, and this can be used for tons of practical magic effects. Other than that, your faces are going to be almost standard, but as you can see, the hearts and diamonds have been swapped out from bright red to this nice muted pink color, very similar to what you would see on the Alt Rosa deck. But just to get a closer look at some of the faces, here we go. You can see, again, bicycle standard, but we have the pink on the face instead of red. Your court cards have been stripped of color, minus black, white, and yellow. And as well, there is some customization in the uniforms. The clubs and spades are going to be completely bicycle standard, as you can see. Nothing wrong with that. I happen to like it. In fact, it might not even be completely standard. It looks like the spade pip is a little bit more pointy on this deck. Yeah. Really nice faces, though. This is actually probably one of my favorite custom jobs that Gemini has ever done. You get the idea. They look great. Here is one more look at that back design. Ooh, it's very like cotton candy kind of. Ooh, it looks so good. I like this way more than the design and colorway of the V2. All right, now that pretty much does it for how this deck looks, but let's talk about how it's gonna feel in the hands. All right, so handling wise, it's basically what you would expect from USPCC. I know a lot of decks that I review say that, but What can I say? It's consistent, at least. These cards are printed on crushed USPCC bicycle stock. So they feel nice in the hands. They're definitely soft and springy. As well, they came out of the box feeling good to go. They didn't require a lot of breaking in, which I am a huge fan of these days. It's kind of spoiled me, actually. This is what the cards look like in a spring. You can see how effortless it is. I'm barely even having to apply pressure, and the cards just spring nicely from one hand to the next. This is what they sound like in a dribble. Very nice. Now, if I had to compare this specific deck in the hands to another deck, I would say it feels very similar to the Superfly Stingray deck, if you have it. I would say another deck that this compares pretty closely to is the Casual V2 playing cards. So if you have those, there you go. But you can see they are relatively thin. They look great in movement, as you can see here. And of course from the trailer. Look at those bright colors though. Ooh, look at that. They definitely go best from top to bottom. Snappiness check. Nice, nice and quiet. A lot of cards from the USPCC these days, so thin and so soft that you almost can't hear them when you like snap it off the deck. Almost couldn't even hear that. Here's what they look like under pressure. Ooh, nice. A common question is, would I perform Magic with this deck? You know, I could. If I was at like a pool party or something and I wanted to be festive, if I was hired for like an outdoor type gig, then yeah, maybe. This deck is a little bit pricey to show up at a gig with in case it gets damaged. You don't want that to happen, but there would be nothing really stopping me from using this deck. I mean, the faces are easy enough to recognize, so using it for Magic would be kind of a non-issue. I still would not prefer to perform with this deck just because it is a little bit more expensive. And there you go. Well guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode of Way Back Wednesday. Hard to believe that we're already 14 episodes in, but what can I say? Time flies when you're reviewing cards. If you're interested in picking up this deck, it is sold out on Gemini's website, but you might take to eBay and find yourself a pretty good deal between this and the V2. As always guys, please don't forget to like this video if you liked it. And if you're just finding us here at this channel, please consider subscribing for more awesome content just like this. Also, if you're interested in winning a giveaway that I'm currently running, I will leave the link in the description so you can win yourself some cards. All that being said, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. I know I will. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.